Welcome to Econ 317. In this video, we will go over the review questions for midterm 1 and we will solve the question on the national income. So this is the national income model. Where we have been given the information that the aggregate expenditure is the sum of the household consumptions given by C plus I, which is the private investments, plus the government expenditure given by G, plus the net exports, which is export minus import. So this is the expression you must have seen in any intermediate macroeconomics class. And here we are provided the information that C, the household consumption, is given as 100 plus 0.75y. Remember, this 100 is the autonomous consumption. And the 0.75 is the marginal propensity to consume. If households are given $1 more of their income, then their consumption goes up by 75 cents at the margin. In addition, we are also given that the private investment is $100, the government expenditure is $100, and the net export is also given as $100. These are all in dollar terms. Now, the first part requires us to draw the consumption function with y on the horizontal axis and c on the vertical axis. So, I have y here, given the national income of y, the consumption is on the vertical. Expression given above is 100 plus 0.75 times y. So I have the vertical intercept to be 100, positive slope is 0.75. That's the consumption function. This is straightforward. Now, the second part asks us to do the same exercise, but this time for the aggregate expenditure. So first I will write down the aggregate expenditure as C, 100 plus 0.75y plus investment 100, government expenditure 100, net exports 100. So we can collect terms. 100 4 times makes it 400 plus 0.75y. So now we can draw the graph for the aggregate expenditure as well. Again with the same rule, y on the horizontal, aggregate expenditure on the vertical. This graph will have 400 as the vertical intercept and the slope positive 0.75. This is the aggregate expenditure. Now we go to the third part where we are required to find out the equilibrium national income. So analytically, so we will use algebraic expressions to find out this value. So in equilibrium, it must be the case that the national income y, I will write it again, y is equal to the aggregate expenditure. I have the expression for aggregate expenditure already determined, which is 400 plus 0.75y. So this is one equation in one unknown we can solve. And the way we solve, I will take the unknowns on one side, this time on the left side, the constants on the right hand side. So I have 0.75y on the right hand side, which needs to be moved to the left. So I subtract 0.75y from both sides of the expression to obtain y minus 0.75y turns out to be 0.25y. Remember, if there is no coefficient here, the coefficient is 1. So 1 minus 0.75 is 0.25. These two terms cancel out, 400 on the right hand side. And now we can divide both sides by 0.25 to obtain the value of y. So y on the left hand side by itself, 400 over 0.25, 400 over a quarter is 1600. So this is the equilibrium national income at which the aggregate expenditure is exactly equal to the national income. We can also find out the aggregate consumption in equilibrium. So let me do this. I go back to the expression. It is given as 100 plus 0.75y. I already know y is at equilibrium, so I put star here. So 100 plus 0.75 times 1600. We can do this computation. The second term will turn out to be 1200. So C star in equilibrium is 1300. One more feature, suppose we were asked to solve this expression graphically, it was doable that way too, and for that all I need is the helping line. So let me draw the aggregate expenditure 400, slope is 0.75, and I will draw a helping line 45-degree slope passing through the origin. So slope is 1, and so the point at which the helping line crosses the aggregate expenditure line is the equilibrium national income. And if we do draw this graph to the scale, we will be able to find out that the national aggregate equilibrium, national income in equilibrium turns out to be $1,600. And this is a good point to stop.